City of Kyiv has received a lot of attention for their work with digital channels and such during the last few years in the very special war situation that's going on in Ukraine. So we're really proud and happy to have Denys with us to share some of his experiences. Thank you, Denys, and take it away.
Pleasure is all mine. For your comment, I recall I was joking with it. They're overperforming and under-communicating on what they've done. So, hello everybody. My name is Denys. I serve as a CIO Advisor City Council, responsible for three areas, which is digital strategy, international cooperation, and focused attention to the public safety, data governance, AI, and energy resilience. So for whatever of those topics, please come contact me and we could have a really great discussion. Now let me just fire the presentation. Warner, if you could be, so tell me if you could see the screen, then I could proceed.
Yes, it's good. Thank you.
Should. Yeah, perfect. So first thing I will start with would be to say a great thank you for this organized by the Innocode, because for us, the key point is to ensure that we build a large node of and like a trust nodes. And for those, it's indeed a way to spark intercity collaboration. So it's less about the ideas itself or the solution itself or approaches itself. It's rather to understand the logic behind them and why we did it that way. So running such forums as in 2025 is really important for sharing knowledge. Now, if we talk about the area of the complex compounded risks, like disinformation, digital fragmentation, some adversary, peer learning is really important. And rightfully so, I would say that no city is immune to any challenges, but every city can contribute. So we're here just to share what we've learned, not to say how good we are. So let me start with this. Over recent years, there was building the confidence gap, which puts a pressure on governance models, both locally and internationally. One, we've heard last October during Bloomberg City Lab in Mexico that 71 of mayors presented reported that they've seen worse communitarization, and they said that misinformation and disinformation is one of the largest risks for them and threats. That was also supported by the recent World Economic Forum publication, talking about that, yes, you really need to treat misinformation as a digital asset, quite a risky one. The whole for us is that our residents still believe local authorities more than national authorities. And then there is a challenge how you could really bridge the gap between advancement of the national authorities, which will have lower confidence and trust, and the local authorities. And probably similar to what Jake has mentioned at the beginning of the event, that just 1 in 5 people who feel unheard say the government really represents them. So it's not a crisis of the information or effects, it's a crisis of connection. This is what we're clearly discussing here. So for us, as I mentioned, I was working on digital strategy for the next 10 years. So one of the key factors and one of 4 priorities for it was to sustain trust between residents and the local government through open data and public-private partnership. So this is where it goes. The open data promotes transparency and shared accountability. Now the public-private partnership helps to really involve all the, I would say, collective intelligence of the market, and then build the new services. And the direct communication really helps to close the gap between the action and the perception for the local government. Again, I am echoing what my colleague has shared earlier. For us, when the war started, we've seen that this is a really great approach to prioritize legitimacy over features, meaning that we need to make sure residents have all the necessary correct information instead of something shiny stuff. So, talking about the misinformation, it's not the media issue. It's not the issue of how good, bad we're perceived in the eyes of the residents. It's a really additional pressure put on governance. When we start with the start of the war, we've seen a real outbreak of Russian adversaries and secret intelligence trying to spread some rumors and really extract information through fake websites, Telegram channels, etc. And this is not something new. When we have the second revolution in Kyiv, I do remember there was a brilliant example when you were looking at the Yandex map, which was really popular at the time, the Russian service, and it shows that there is a huge traffic in one of the bridges. In reality, there were none cars there. Yeah, so this was used really as a intelligence operation by the Russian spies. So Kyiv Digital became a really lead feedback and alert system in a territory of, let's say, Kyiv metropolis of 3.4, 3.5 million users. We have residents. We have 3.1 million registered users and more than 1.8 active users daily. And they're really using the app not because we push them or force them somehow, but they really find it useful. And we do understand that it's important to provide necessary and up-to-date information unless any service delivery will be fugitive. So to summarize that, talking about the disinformation, it's important to provide actual information and probably some instruction suggestion to the residents because, again, as Jake mentioned at the beginning, when people do not have necessary information, they will imagine that, and you can't control what they will come out with. So we're thinking about it. What matters most? We want to combine with really turning Kyiv Digital on the platform for public trust. So our approach is built around three things. One, we use infrastructure to provide key instructions what to do, how to do that, and a specific right time. We want to make sure that residents not only get information through trusted channel from the city administration, but they also can be actively engaged and influence what are the priorities, what are the city operations, and the service delivery and excellence reasons. So basically, think about Web 3.0. So renaming the purpose for the city, it will be the resident will really own the city. Yeah, could impact that. And the last one, where they find that we need to make sure that rules and roles within a city government are really visible, explainable, and everybody could have same access. So this principle, and probably this what is in a way put us similar to what's happening in Nordic countries. We consider it as a long-term social contracts, not just okay, let's come up with some shiny technology and then bring it to everybody. Now, having we really paid a great time to think about not only what is available, what could we improve, but also when we were not the one, not the very first and not the last to do so. So we decided to look what went on when similar solution for the building public trust and boosting resident engagement failed. And they come up with I'm showing here a few examples, but basically you could see the main reasons fall in either of the categories. So you either have low uptake or the low engagement. So yes, some people will download, they might even just log in and then forget about that. Or, as I know in one of the cities of Norway, I've seen this example, when you have 16 apps for transportation, probably it's really hard to get use all of that on an active basis. So with the thing we're doing for the city of Kyiv to have single, unified, and resident or user-centered interface to access all the services needed, which is probably helps with that. Another point, which probably colleagues from Innocode has shared earlier, is important piece to really build in mechanism to get feedbacks from the residents. So you have evidence-based policy making. So if the solution fails to do so, nothing could help that. And a third area where we see potential problems when, yes, you might have the good technology, it might be really shiny, it has all the best reviews in the world, but it really fails to deliver clear value and with a combination of existing technologies. Giving you an example, I've seen one of with the AI hype nowadays. I've seen a brilliant solution with one of US companies where they're using AI and OSINT tools to, how they put it, sense opinions of residents and the community regarding business development projects. So let's say some property developer wants to build, let's say, a townhouse area. And instead of investing a lot of time, they want to way in advance understand how they will be perceived. So the solution using AI, OSINT, and some communication solutions monitor, brilliant. But it's not popular. And the number of users really engaging that is quite low. Why? Because they were not, or they failed to really promote, communicate that value. So for the article I've shared earlier, we had a brilliant discussion with Peter Gott from Australia earlier. Yes, everybody starts at a certain point with some apps, like Jake mentioned, 311, or some tailored solutions for some specific areas. But then, after all, you need to realize that it's really hard to work when you have number of isolated tools that not only create data silos, but that also create operational silos. And really managing that is really hard. So the solution to that could be to build a platform which enables seamless integration of all the data operators, service providers, your existing legacy systems, zoo. So it like a works perfectly. I'll give you example as you probably heard about the FIVAR API solution, and they have this brilliant content brokerage, which helps you to translate, transform different data sources into something that you could work within a single model. So in a similar way, think about digital services, delivery and city operations management enablement, implementation of a platform city mindset. So that means that services are modular, residents will be the one who co-create and define what the future looks like, and the trust is built between systems, not just within a single system. We've done quite successful city of Kyiv, and then Now we're considered, okay, and again, it's part of our long-term strategy that how could we share those lessons and those experience within Ukraine and outside. So our ambition is to co-design with peers from other connected communities that have similar challenges, and we want to turn resilience really into shared urban language. So as colleagues from Norway mentioned that you have some model operandi for common language, the same. We just want to share all the lessons we have City of Kyiv with others. So we could look either into shared data standards, toolkits, or repurposing advanced technologies for public protection. We could look about the crisis communication protocols, incident command system frameworks, others, and what are the best way to ensure transparency of the service performance. What we've learned so far, if we want to summarize all that. So misinformation is not the noise. It's really testing the resilience of your local government institution. People couldn't care less about what solution they're using. What they care is that it's really brings a value and provides information what it's really important. Now, any digital tool, and you could see from successful, not so successful projects in your countries that only ensure the digital tools success when we see clarity, accountability, and responsiveness. And last one, the platform city model, which I'm talking about and suggesting to adopt. This is about the apps, OSS, BSS systems, ERPs, CRMs, whatever. It's creating environment where you could build a trust and then it grows. Last thing interesting I want to share with you. This is something I've been advocating for probably half a year already. The three-pillar model for smart city connected communities change management operation. So if you want to bring success in any of the sectors or domain within smart city, you need three elements. One, you need to identify, as I put it, the rules of the game, which will be reflected in your bylaws, strategies, frameworks, etc., etc., etc. Then, as soon as you decided on the rules of the game and hopefully the fair game, which will help you to engage public-private partnership, then think about looking into your playground, which is digital public infrastructure in all its beauty. And then, as soon as you agreed on the rules of the playground, okay, guys, let's find a ball and play soccer or football, wherever. Yeah. So this is, we are talking about the digital services built on top of that. Now, the challenge you probably have seen and I've noticed personally events like Smart City Expo and others that usually service providers are looking only to the point on the edge between the digital public infrastructure and service, where their promise, oh yeah, we'll put everything, we'll deliver everything, and that will work perfect. And again, we've seen with one of the largest IT and service companies in the world, they have failed significantly with such approach. So nobody likes the lock-in, and then this modular approach works perfectly. What adoption of such three-pillar model brings for connected community smart cities? First one, you talk about equity. We ensure that everybody has access to resources and services. Second one, you talk about inclusivity, so nobody is left behind, and you could really involve diverse group of stakeholders. And the third one, as you build on the public trust, you come up with a transparent governance and effective operations that will really make every resident feel safe and comfortable in the community he lives in, and for the mayor, probably him to be re-elected. What I would suggest in a broad case for that, how you could approach it. First one, start with assessment and identify gaps and opportunities regarding the governance. And given the topic of this meeting about the trust and the information exchange you have, the operation system you have municipality, then you could drive collaboration between different agencies to really see these data silos and resources available. Prioritize what solution might work best for the really small pilot approach, and then lead by example, because I would say one of the real things I like when I've been in a Helsinki in 2022, there was this project placement of kids to the kindergarten. They were the very first who did that, and they had a brilliant concept. It was quite challenging to build it, but then it's brilliant, and in its brilliance lies the simplicity. So then you could reapproach or reuse that mindset for other services with the active placement or provision of services. So this is probably all on my side. Feel free to connect, and if you feel inspired, we could discuss further. Now
Thank you.
Back to questions,
Thank
probably,
you.
or whatever we
Thank
have.
you, Denys. Yes, we do have some questions. I have some questions. I think because what this is interesting with your case, of course, is that you when the war hit, you had this channel, this app already established with your citizens. What do you think? The fact that you had already done this sort of preparation, this that you already had the channel with the parkings and important functionality. What do you think it has meant to your communication efforts during the war?
I would say it started earlier with the COVID outbreak, sort of been more prepared for the war because of the COVID.
Yeah.
And there was really a trusted channel to just share information. What are the closest hospital you test, etc., etc. So I think during the war, we just use really at scale all the benefits of the trusted channel already built. And then it was talking about the tool, the same Kyiv Digital app, then we added functionality for identity for municipal worker. So if he comes to provide some services in your the apartment, he just shows you QR code, you just scan it, you confirm, yeah, this indeed is Denys who works for the Kyiv City Council.
Yeah.
So again, probably I won't say anything revolutionary new, but it's less about the concept or the ideas you build. The one that works are really simple. It's effort and the real challenge to implement them so they would work. So I like my colleagues from London who always talk about, let's think about the agile approach. So build, test, improve, reiterate. Maybe 20 years ago, you'll talk about, oh, now this is Lean for Six Sigma or DMake. Define, measure, analyze, improve, control. So you use probably new or modern wording for that, but in a nutshell, you identify what is your opportunity or the gap. You come up with few ideas how to address it. You build it, and probably like if you fail fast. Yeah, you build something, you test it, and improve it, and move on.
Denys, I have a question from Oslo here. So,
sure. Hello.
Hello, Denys. So you talked about COVID. So I think I presume the app or the strategy for Kyiv Digital was made before the war, right? So can you talk a little bit about how you guys was thinking when you made this strategy and included all the services? I like the sentence that single unified service in one place. So could you tell us a little bit about how you kind of were thinking when you made the strategy to making a single unified kind of place for me as a resident to access service and information?
I would say really briefly, step that up. The smart city was initiated in the city of Kyiv back 2016 when the mayor signed the memo. Then from, let's say, till end of 2018, roughly, the team at that time was working mostly on getting people used to the term per such concept and on some heavy infrastructure project, let's say laying fiber, building one network, installing CCTV cameras, etc., etc. And that continues as well. And then when the current team joined back in end of 2018, I say, okay, we have some elements or foundation elements of the digital public infrastructure. Let's think about how we could build or how we could think about the digital services. And so what we come up with, the logic was, if some service is used on a regular basis, it should go to the app. If service is being used really, I don't know, once in a lifetime or, or once a year, etc., they will go or initially go through the city portal. So Kyiv Digital started initially as a transportation app, as we always probably had and heard many cases. Then we added functionality regarding parking. Then we got the emergency notification. Then we got air quality monitoring. Then some really cool tools for the electronic democracy, like polling, voting, participatory budget. And then we added something for the utility and home association support. So it comes really naturally. Again, comparing, let's say, to the 311 solution, which is widely used in USA, if they will be developed in similar way, they will come up with some results. But they started like 10 years ago. Yeah, we just had this advantage of starting later, learning from the best, and then moving forward from that. And the idea for the for your second question, for the user-centric model, well, let's say we all have different ecosystem of the IT solutions, yeah, in each of the cities, and different connectivity with the common platform on the national or regional. Now, our idea is that the residents should not suffer or have different experience if we replace certain legacy system with a new one. And that's why the idea come up. Let's make it really beautiful. Let's make it non-annoying and only bring the information that the resident really cares about. And as he got used to that experience operating the app, as soon as you introduce something new system, each gets as a new service, and he uses it the same way. So probably comparison as a Jake down with they're looking into how Amazon is doing something. For us, the same. We had a joke that's one of the points that how the good connectivity app for the people communities might look like. Yes, this is it.
Yeah, but and how was the reception from the residents? And how did you kind of lay a plan to get as many as possible to download the app and get to use it? What did you do to kind of expose the services and the ability to use Kyiv Digital towards the residents?
I think there was two key. Yes, we were quite actively promoting that solution through the official channels and given the advantage. Let's say, okay, if you download the app and you add your transportation card or you issue digital transportation card, then through the app you could get a discount for the cost of the single trail, for example. On the second, how we get it really actively engaged, we had a co-project with one of the largest banks in Ukraine, where we issued the banking card, payment card, which was all used as at that point as ID to confirm your special status as a resident of the Kyiv city, so the Kyiv one. And then they were using that to identify themselves. That, oh yeah, I have the right to get some discount or similar stuff for their city services. And then at a certain point, we just blend it all together. Say, okay, this is the app. You could operate it. You get all the benefits. Yes, there is still a non-digital way of doing so and getting the printed tickets, all that stuff. But mostly you get advances through the digital. So it just took time. It didn't happen. It didn't happen overnight. But now we have more than 95% penetration rate. So, and again, really because it's useful. I like using that for public transportation payment. I like that for the monitoring of the air quality. I like that for the audience, for the some public projects or initiatives to build kindergarten or parks or whatever.
Yeah. Do you encounter any kind of privacy issues when you kind of implement public transport cards and payment cards and kindergarten and stuff like that?
We could discuss it with you separately in more details, but in general, no. Anybody could install Kyiv Digital app, download and install it either from the Google Play or App Store. You'll be identified using your mobile phone and a one-time password coming through the SMS. That's fine. But this will provide you access to the general non-personal services. And now we have integration with the two important elements you could use for your authorization, either state ID, national ID, or you could use banking ID, which really confirms that, yes, you are who you are, and then give you access to the like voting or signing some petitions, which is legally binding and explain that. And in such way, we clearly separate. So most cases we do not, or we try to avoid collection of any information. It just provided on the general base access. For those cases where we need your personal information to provide your personalized services, yeah, then we use it either of the national ID or banking ID. And the last point, it's probably broader than discussion of this event, but as you touched it, let's talk about that. You could think about the city ID as some combination of the sets of data which defines you and your, let's say, digital touch point experience for different services. Now, you not only want what types of the personal data is being collected. You not only want to understand what are the services that require access to these mentioned types of information, but also you want to understand that what data operators process information. And as I mentioned, for example, the city of Flanders is brilliant with that, and EU, I would say, a bit strict with the GDPR requirements, but still moves to the direction. So the user should have all the picture, how his data is being collected, operated, and then how it helps you to enhance your experience. So imagine again, I've been to Oslo actually. So imagine you've come to you're a resident of Oslo, and then you come up to, let's say, Stockholm, and it says, "Oh, hello, I could identify that probably something closer to city of Stockholm. Could you confirm that you are here?" Say, "Yeah, now I'm in city of Stockholm." And the app says, "Okay, it's a great weather outside. Usually on Monday you have a park for 2 hours. Do you want me to show you the closest route to the beautiful park in the place you are?" So, and this is part of the overall evolution when you come from the, let's say, transaction based services and approach to the experience driven. So based on your experience, we could offer you something interesting and really suitable for yourself. Not generic, the guy in his 50s with a white headset or something. To have it really personalized, and that really helps. And then another side for that, which I think lots of cities has not looked into. Let's put me politically, because we're on the recording. Some of the cities could get help with the monetization of the data. So it's not only you collect the data or how the different communities, districts within a city operates. But also based on this aggregated, depersonalized data, you could build a whole lot of services with a public-private partnership. You could think about some micro indicators planning, which really helps to drive economy or again open new opportunities, and then return to the residents what they really matter, which is only information I really need. I'm not burdened with the time promotions, etc.
Yeah, I think we could have a dedicated session about this privacy and location data and all the services that we can provide. Jake mentioned it as well, like in regards of capacity in parks and events and stuff like that. But yeah, so to summarize, so to get people to download the app, you have to have incentives, the carrot, right? Not the stick.
Yeah, but we're not the boring department of traditional. We're more a product management company within Kyiv City Council. So we engage whatever social media, digital tools we could get to really get a war of eyes of solutions.
I'm interested in what you're saying there, Denys, because I imagine having such a strong outbound channel that you have established with Kyiv Digital. I mean, this is probably not on your table, but you know how this has affected the channel strategies in general from the city. I'm thinking you're talking about trusted channels and not so much trusted. You're talking about fake websites saying stuff. Has this been affecting how you work with social media and stuff? Do you know?
Well, yes, we did create official Telegram account, we have official Instagram account, we have official Facebook account, we have official city portal, and we're looking into, again, with all these myriads of the channels, how you could ensure omni-channel experience. So whatever channel you approach, you'll get the same feedback. Each time, I would say it's not complete fully, but you would think about it, it's again probably some fruits of the legacy systems, or let's say things that were built before the platform city approach has arisen to reality. So it just takes time. Totally makes sense. And probably for next, let's say 50 years, 30 years, you'll still have people who prefer the analog, non-digital way. So you will provide option for that. But in terms of the scale, what you could do through digital, and how much you could save for that, and how much more results you could get. Giving you an example, we built the situation awareness, a command control center in the city of Kyiv. If you think about separate sets of data, let's say air quality, transportation load in the streets, etc., etc. So you have separate set data, but when you have an opportunity using either digital twins or some other solution to really intersect that view and say, okay, now we can understand how these three factors contribute to some trends, some challenges. This way you get the value. And then on top of that, you could use AI and all that stuff. But the data is king. Any reliable solution, which again, customer center will help with it.
Great. Thank you, Denys. I think we will let that be the final word. That will allow us